13. Nessus had not returned to the other side when we entered a wood unmarked by any path. The foliage was not green, but a dusky color. The branches were not smooth, but warped and knotted. There were no fruits here, only poisonous thorns. The wild beasts that hate the cultivated fields in the Tuscan Maremma. Between Cecilia and Cornetto have layers less thick and tangled. Here the brutish harpies make their nests. They who chase the Trojans from the Strophades with dismal pronouncements of future tribulations. They have broad wings and human necks and faces, clawed feet, and large feathered bellies, and they make mournful cries in that strange wood. The kind master said, "Before you go further, be aware that you are in the second ring, and will be until you come to the dreaded sands. So look carefully, and you will see things that might make you mistrust my words. Already I heard sighs on every side, and saw no one to make them, at which I stood totally bewildered. I think that he thought that I was thinking that many of those voices came from among the trees, from people who hid themselves because of us. So the master said, if you break a little twig from one of these branches, and the thoughts you will have will be seen to be an error. Then I stretched out my hand a little and broke a little small branch off from a large thorn, and its trunk cried out, "Why do you tear at me?" And when it had grown dark with blood, it began to cry out again, "Why do you splinter me? Have you no breath of pity? We were men, and we are changed to trees. Truly your hand will be more merciful if we were merely the souls of snakes." Just as a green branch burning at one end spits and hisses with escaping air at the other, so that from that broken wood blood and words came out together, at which I let the branch fall and stood like a man afraid. My wise sage replied, "Wounded spirit, if he had only believed before what he had read in my verse, he would have not lifted his hand to you, but the incredible nature of the thing made me urge him to do what grieves me. But tell him who you were, so that he might make you some amends, and renew your fame up in the world, to which he is allowed to return." And the tree replied, "You tempt me with your sweet words that I cannot keep silent. But do not object if I am expensive in speech. I am Pierre del Vigne, who held both the keys to Frederick's heart and employed them, locking and unlocking, so quietly that I kept almost everyone from his secrets. I was so faithful to that glorious office that through it I lost my sleep and my life. The whore that never turned her eyes from Caesar's household, envy, the common disease and vice of courts, stirred all minds against me, and being stirred, they stirred Augustus, so that my fine honors were changed to grievous sorrows. My spirit, in a scornful mode, thinking to escape scorn by death, made me, though I was just, unjust to myself. By the strange roots of this tree, I swear to you, I never broke faith with my Lord, so worthy of my honor. If either of you return to the world, raise and cherish my memory, which still lies low from the blow envy gave me." The poet listened a while, and then said to me, "Since he is silent, do not lose the moment, but speak and ask him to tell you more." At which I said to him, You ask him further about what you think will interest me, because I could not. Such pity fills my heart. So he continued. That the man may do freely what your words request from him, imprisoned spirit. Be pleased to tell us further how the spirits are caught up in these knots, and tell us if you can whether any of them free themselves from these limbs. Then the trunk blew fiercely, and the breath was turned to words like these. My reply will be brief. When the savage spirit leaves the body from which it has ripped itself, my nose sends it to the seventh gulf. It falls into this wood, but no place is set for it. Wherever chance hurls it, there it sprouts like a grain of German wheat. Shoots up as a sapling and then as a wild tree. The harpies feeding then on its leaves herd it and give an outlet to its hurt. Like others, we shall go to our corpses in the day of judgment, but not so that any of us may inhabit them again, because it would not be just to have what we took from ourselves. We shall drag them here, and our bodies will be hung through the dismal wood, each on a thorn tree of its tormented shade. We were still listening to the tree, though thinking it might tell us more, when we were startled by a noise, like those who think the wild boat is nearing when they stand and hear the animals crashing branches. Behold, on the left, two naked, torn spirits, running so hard they broke every thicket of the wood. The leader cried, "Come, Death, come now." And the other, Giacomo, who felt himself to be too slow, cried, "Leno, your legs were not so swift at the jousts of Topo." And since perhaps his breath was failing him, he immersed himself with a bush. The wood behind them was filled with black bitch hounds, each eager and quick as greyhounds that have slipped the leash. They clamped their teeth into Leno, who squatted and tore at him bit by bit, then carried off his miserable limbs. My guide now took me by the hand and led me to the bush. Which was grieving in pain through its bleeding splinters, crying, "Oh, Giacomo de Sant Andrea, what have you gained by making me your screen? What blame do I have for your sinful life?" When the master had stopped next to it, he said, "Who were you that breathed out your mournful speech with blood through so many wounds?" And he to us, "You spirits who come to view the dishonorable mangling that has torn my leaves from me, gather them around the foot of the sad tree." I was of Florence, that city which changed Mars, its patron, for St. John the Baptist, because of which that God, through his powers, will always make it sorrowful, were it not that some fragments of his statue remain where Ponte Vecchio crosses the Arno. Those citizens who rebuilt it on the ashes Attila left would have worked in vain. I made a gibbet for myself from my own roof beam.